So good morning, everybody. I'm up here in the Hiawatha National Forest on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and this morning I thought, well, what the heck, I'm going to make another video. We're going to talk about, can you hear the geese? We're going to make another video about cooking an egg and an orange, but rather than bore you with the whole process of making the fire and all that kind of stuff, I did want to do one thing before we start. Making feather sticks, that's a really good skill that you should at least know, if not be real proficient at. But if you're in this environment, nature's already got your feather sticks covered. All you have to do is get out under the understory of, say, some hemlock cedars, and you'll find that the lower branches, because of the tree growth, have died, and they snap very, very easily. And this, nature has provided you with feather sticks. I'm going to break a little off and let you see what I've got here. These things, see if I can get a little closer. These things will catch a spark and it'll go up just as quick as anything that you can come up with. You just have to break them down, process them down a little bit, and once you got your tinder fired, you throw this on there, you're in good shape. So just an idea, rather than spending a lot of energy making feather sticks, let nature give you some. And I'll give a big shout out to the guys at Georgia Bushcraft, since I have their shirt on. Alright, so we've moved back to camp, and I went ahead and set up this fire lay, and this is just a basic scrambled up fire lay. I took all of the feather sticks that Mother Nature provided, and I'll remind you again, this is kind of what you gather. As you can see, it's very, very fine, lots of surface area compared to the mass, and you just wad the stuff up, and that's what I've done. So I've wadded it up, thrown a little kindling on top of it, thrown some firewood from last night on top of it, and the aluminum package is one of the cotton ball tenders that everybody's familiar with. And I'm going to say it again because I like to say it every time we talk about fire building in any manner. If you get out in the woods and you're building a fire with a hand bow or a bow drill, and that's your only method of building a fire, you're in trouble already. Folks, don't go into woods without being prepared. Carry 2 or 3 methods of making fire with you. The most common, of course, is the 99-cent Bic or the ferro rod. And so what I'm going to use this morning is a ferro rod and a cotton ball tinder. The way I use the cotton ball tenders personally is that I take and make a little boat looking thing out of the aluminum foil, and I leave the tinder, the cotton ball tinder, in the foil for 2 reasons. One, it may be wet, and while that doesn't really stop it from working, it does impede it if it gets damp. The other thing is, if you leave it in there and you make it into a little boat, once you strike it, you can take and put it under your fire lay, and it acts as kind of a little reflector to help focus the heat up into the fire lay. Let me make my hole a little bigger, because the first law of video is that when you're making a video, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So let's try this and see where we go. I use, on my Swiss Army knife, the saw blade on my ferro rod, for the simple reason this thing throws like major sparks, and I'm not dulling my pocket knife blade. So we're going to throw a spark in there. Like I said, first rule, there we go. The video is whatever can go wrong will go wrong. We'll slide that right in there. And I didn't even get it poked all the way up in there. You see it's catching that stuff up very nicely. We'll give it a moment to catch up, and then I'm just going to drag some of it back across it. And there you go. Nature's feather sticks. Like I said, you want to practice, you want to have good skills, but you also want to think, use your head, don't waste resources. Use your head. And we'll be back with you after the coals burn down a bit and do a little cooking.